Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I just came back from hanging out with my mom. We went to a really nice breakfast in a place I've never been to. Really solid. And then we decided to go to her house and watch a movie on Netflix. I don't have a Netflix account, haven't had one since like 2018 when I had a back injury back in the day. And I have not been interested in having one, mainly because of the kind of nonsense that they push, the kind of political things like that one show with the little kids dancing. That was weird. I'm not a big fan of Netflix, just like I'm not a big fan of Disney or Disney Plus, so I kind of avoid a lot of things that come to that. And I found myself being very disappointed this year in 2022 when we had the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that went straight to Netflix. I guess it was made by them. I think it wasn't just produced. I could be wrong. It came out this year, earlier this year, I think like March or right at the beginning of the summertime, like April, I don't know, somewhere in that ballpark. It came out, and I missed it. I've been hearing a lot of different things about it. I heard a lot of people say that it was as bad as it looked, you know. I had mild interest in it, so I was still kind of curious about what it was. My mom just got a Netflix account. We hadn't seen the film. We decided today to watch this, and this being the 9th film in the franchise, I kind of expected from the trailer just a repeat type of thing. It looked like it was going to do what Halloween 2018 did, and kind of what Texas Chainsaw did as well back when it was Texas Chainsaw 3D. You remember that really bad title? I remember that really bad title. Anyway, they ignored everything except for the original movie. Again, it's like the 7th timeline in this franchise. I've not reviewed the other films on this channel yet, just so you know. I just wanted to do a review for just this one at the current moment. I don't have the time. I gotta get into the Halloween movie reviews next for the Halloween Ends movie coming out. So anyway, my mom and I decided to watch it, and it's a very mixed bag. Very, very mixed bag. I will let you know out front, it is nowhere as bad as something like Texas Chainsaw, especially Next Generation, which is probably the worst of the franchise. Mind you, I haven't seen 2 in a long time. I've never been a fan of 2. Never seen Part 3. Haven't seen the beginning in a long time. Haven't seen the remake in a long time, which I always loved that and its sequel or prequel, the beginning. The Leatherface film, which was the previous film, number 8, was straight to video, and I remember liking it. I remember liking that movie, and I think I still like it more than I like this one. I want you to know out front, I don't think Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is a bad movie. I just think it's enough of a stupid movie to be forgettable, to be the kind of thing I'll probably, if they ever put this out on DVD, which I hope they do, I'll probably buy it, keep it in my collection, and then forget I've ever had it. It's a very, very forgettable flick, and that's fine. I don't mind forgettable. I just want to be entertained in the midst of watching something. One of the biggest issues I and many people had going into this, it looked very woke. It looked like it was going to be that kind of thing, and I didn't want that. Most people don't want that. I'll tell you this. I will give Netflix this, as much as I have such a stern irritation towards them and like Disney and whatever. Not the same company, but enough of the same similarities that I have my problems. I went into this being very detached, if you will. I'm not a big fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a franchise. Anyway, I have certain movies that I really love. Again, that original one is fantastic and perfect. I love the remake. I love the beginning. I have movies in this franchise I like a lot. Kind of like with Hellraiser. I think I like more movies in this series than I do Hellraiser, so that's kind of interesting to me. I was relatively mildly entertained with this movie. It's not a complete loss. And I will give Netflix this. It was not complete woke nonsense. A lot of it was kind of balanced, surprisingly, which I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the things this movie had to say about guns and people like myself who love guns, Southerners, Christians, conservatives, all those things. I expected to just straight out get demonized. That's usually the case with things like Netflix and that kind of group. But that wasn't the case, and I'm very, happy about that. That's pretty cool. The fact that we have one character in here who lives in this Texas town where all these folks are from, and I probably consider him my favorite character. He's a good guy, he's a nice guy. A little gruff, but he's a nice guy. Our main character kids that are going out to this small town to basically set up and try to rebuild things. They have some investors coming. They have to hurry up and try to get out there and show some of this stuff to these investors coming on like a party bus type of thing. That's a little weird, because why of all things would you pick an area in Texas that's completely abandoned, completely run down? You're going to have a lot of problems you've never had to deal with before in the city probably, but somehow you think that since no one lives nearby this place, that you think you're going to be able to run a business out here that will grow and grow and grow. That's hipster logic. And this movie has a lot of that, a lot of stupid hipster logic that makes no sense. And I can't really talk about a lot of it because of spoilers, but if you've seen the film, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's a very dumb movie. And I love slashers. Slashers can be dumb. I don't have a problem with that. It's the way it's executed that's the problem here. Like a lot of movies, and a lot of slasher movies on top of that. It's the execution of the movie itself that can ruin a movie. And a lot of the time it is that here. Like I said, you have a group of friends, there's 4 kids, there's a guy and a girl, I think they're engaged, I believe it's a young man, young woman, and then you have 2 sisters, and they're coming along, they're driving in the back seat, and they go out to this town, they're sightseeing, whatever, and when they get to the actual place that they themselves have bought, that particular property, there's still an old lady and a young man, well, not really a young man, he's like in his 50s, has a beard, leather face. He hasn't shown them his face yet, which we'll get there when we talk about the character stuff. They're still in that house that these people have already bought the deed to, and things go sour. Basically, these 2 were supposed to abandon the place, like the police told them in the local town, and they did not. Well, the old lady starts to have a heart attack and goes into panic mode, and while she and the big, leather-faced man himself are in the police sheriff van going to, like, the hospital or something, she dies. And this becomes a revenge tale all of a sudden. This movie, in my opinion, is a movie that was probably supposed to not be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. That's my thoughts on it. I really believe that. Mainly because it seems to me the movie forgets the Leatherface ain't a good guy. If you're ignoring everything but the original movie, he ain't a good guy. This is the same mistake that Leatherface the movie made. This is the same mistake that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, well, Texas Chainsaw 3D made, about trying to make him the good guy. You can't make him the good guy. The whole family were bad in the original movie, but he especially is a really bad guy. He chases you with a chainsaw, takes your face, makes a mask out of it. They're trying so hard to make him a good guy in this movie, but he is the antagonist of this movie still. Why are you trying to make him relatable? I get trying to make a villain relatable, but Leatherface is already an established character. You can't do that with him. It doesn't work. A lot of the logic behind how he knows this woman who runs the orphanage where he apparently grew up or whatever already contradicts that original movie. There's so many moments like that, and well, for example, he's so attached to her, the kind of logic about how we're trying to make him a cannibal serial killer, into a good guy, what happened to his family, all the logic based around that are out the window. This is a very wish-washy Leatherface movie. If you're a big Leatherface fan or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan of that sort, if you like these movies a lot, you're going to be disappointed. And I was disappointed not even being a massive fan of these films. I found it to be a complete mess. I didn't hate the group of kids. I was worried about the direction it was going. 2 of them I kind of don't like, the 2 sisters specifically. I like the blonde, I like the black young man. He's really cool. He's probably one of the best characters in the film. But the 2 sister characters are very woke. They're very, very political. We even take out the time to look at their Facebook feed and how they're everything pro that side. It is just so weird to me. But the film does something with it. Like I said, we have another guy they kind of have a rough start with. He's a redneck fella. He carries a pistol around. They immediately have an attitude over that in person to him, which is weird to me. They're very abrasive people. Not the 2 main folks, the engaged folks, but the sisters are very abrasive people. I do not like those characters for the most part. I find them more relatable later on, but not really. It is what it is. But the redneck guy, I don't know his name, but I love him. Great character, really fun to watch. That actor knows what he's in. He's trying to do something really nice with his performance here, and I think he was cool. I like the character. I think he's tough. He's fun. His kind of little spats he has with those 2 sisters throughout the movie are kind of cool. I like that Netflix didn't ghost around on this place of, we're going to make everybody that side bad and this side good. Whatever side you land on, they're fairly even in this movie, which surprised me, like I said. That shouldn't be something we even have to talk about with a movie, but for me, that's something worth talking about. I thought it was kind of surprising for people like myself who were very apprehensive about this movie and kind of didn't want to see it because of the way it was advertised, the way it was marketed as being kind of a woke Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. But I'm glad how it turned out when it comes to that degree. Let's talk a little bit more about the plot. Well, again, it kind of becomes a revenge movie, and Mr. Leatherface, Mr. Face, whatever we can call him, he decides to go on a revenge spree because he feels like these people put his mom in distress, or whatever she is, the orphanage leader. I don't care. I don't care enough to find out. They don't really make it completely clear who she is, but sort of, kind of. they kind of feel, he kind of feels like they caused her heart attack that killed her. And it becomes a revenge tale. And now that added a nice little motivation for him, but stop trying to make him relatable. This movie tries so hard for that. I don't like it. The writing on the film is very rough. Very, very rough. I looked at the director and writer themselves, their careers. They've done nothing. They've done like maybe 1 or 2 movies a piece for each of these people. And it made no sense to me how they got their hands on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, aside from the franchise basically being dead. I'm sorry. It's a dead franchise, fans out there. I hate it. I'm sure you hate it too. It was nice to see a new Massacre movie coming out, but as you could tell, when the film came out, people were already not excited about it. It kind of was dead on arrival a little bit. I don't know anybody in person who watched the movie, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Even people at work I know who are horror fans were not watching this. It kind of surprised me a little bit. Whereas like Prey, when Prey came out on Hulu, everybody I know was talking about it. People who weren't even horror fans at my job were talking about that movie because it was great. It was really great. Anyway, the characters here are a little bit wish-washy, like I said, but the fella playing Leatherface, I could care less about the casting of the cannon fodder, you know, all the kids and stuff. I could care less about any of those people. They were fine. They did their job. That lead redneck guy, I really like him. And I like some other characters here and there. There's not many people in the movie. But the guy playing Leatherface, I would equate this, even though it's a very much betrayal of Leatherface as a character, and it seems to forget that he's a cannibal. The film seems to never bring that up, almost ever. What gets me the most is this guy's like the equivalent of Tyler Mane playing Michael Myers. This guy's brutal, but it also makes Leatherface too strong. And then in other scenes, he's not strong enough. There's a scene in here where it involves a hand. I won't spoil it for you, but if you have seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. There's a hand, and Leatherface shouldn't be that strong, in my opinion. It made him very threatening. Again, it's kind of the equivalent of the Tyler Mane Michael Myers. He's brutal. Brutal. If you like gore, even CGI gore, there's a lot of CGI in this movie, but especially CGI gore and kills. If you like that gory aspect to these movies when they have it, like in the remake, like in the beginning, if you like that, this film has that. However, there's not many kills with the chainsaw. It's not a very scary movie. It's just kind of a very bland slasher for the most part. It's a weak sauce movie, you know what I mean? I hate to say that, but it is. I was looking forward to it too, to an extent, you know? But I was glad in that first 20 minutes where it was going, and I was kind of hoping it would get better. Which, by the way, the runtime of this movie, it says like an hour and 20 minutes on IMDb. It's really like an hour and 10 minutes. It's really not long at all, which I thought was great, because if you're not enjoying the film, it's over quick. If you're enjoying it, you don't get a whole lot of it, but you get a decently paced film. Even though if it is a little messy, it's a decently paced movie. Now, we do have another character I want to talk about just quickly, not too much to say. There is a character from the original movie that's in this movie that's not Leatherface. They recast this person because the real-life actor had passed away a few years back, and that was okay. It felt like a great example of this movie didn't know what it wanted to be. Was it a legacy sequel like Halloween 2018 or like the Chucky TV show? Was it trying to be something like that or like Scream, the new one? What was it trying to be? The film doesn't know. That's where the writing comes in as a problem. I would be more than willing to bet this was not going to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And even the ending of the film, I would say, for the writing aspect, even though I won't spoil anything, clearly the way they handled the situation at the end of the movie was so goofy, and something that happened to Leatherface was clearly supposed to be very different. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. I think anybody with a brain watching the final couple of scenes of this movie would agree that that last couple of moments were supposed to be very different. Very, very different. I am not thrilled with this movie at all, as you can tell. It's very, very underwhelming. It is what it is. If you like gore movies, this movie is for you, I think. Which I was hoping that would be more for me, but it is what it is. It's very weak. It's not one of the worst of the franchise, but it's a weak one, for sure. Right there with 2 for me. I'm not a fan of 2, almost at all. I saw it like once or twice in my whole life. I rented it from like Movie Stars way back in the day. And it is what it is. The look of the movie has that filter on it, you know, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre filter where we just make everything yellow and orange until it's night and then everything becomes blue. And that's fine. It looks good. The directing is okay. And, again, underwhelming. The little town that they're in, I kind of don't hate. It's kind of a nice little secluded place to film this movie. I liked it. It did something for the atmosphere of the film. CGI, practical effects. There's a little bit of both. There's way more CGI than practical effects. And that's fine. You have your moments here and there. The kills are brutal, like I said, but they're, I don't know, they weren't super impressive. There's not much of a chainsaw used in the film, which kind of surprised me. Maybe in the last 35 minutes. I don't know what to say. Does it seem like I'm underwhelmed? It's because I am. Let's go on to the music, the final category before the rating. The music itself is almost non-existent, and when it's there, it's fine. The after credits, or the credits music, is really solid. I really liked that when we go to credits at the end of the film. That's pretty cool. I like that music. Very synth-wavy, which might not fit for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but it was still something better than the flick. But overall, the music in the movie, it is what it is. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Have you seen it? Do you hate it? Do you love it? What do you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this flick. I'm underwhelmed. I'm kind of bummed out about it. But overall, I don't hate the movie. I had some surprises here, especially with the political aspect of it that I was worried was going to be a big problem with this movie. It started off on a bad foot for me. It kind of ended off on a bad foot for me. But I wouldn't hate if they made more. I would totally be down to see another one if they keep it kind of level-headed like this and avoid some of the things they did in this movie. Overall, it's messy. Overall, it's not really a legacy sequel like they advertised. I don't hate on it too much for that. It tried to do something a little bit different, but not much different in a great way. If I had to rate Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 on a 5-star basis, I'd give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm not in love with it. I don't hate it at all. It's watchable. You know, you ever seen something that's just watchable? That's what this is for me. Anyway, have you seen it? What do you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below. What's your favorite of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films? If I get around to next summer, God willing, if I watch all the films, review all the films here for the channel, I plan on doing a ranking film series thing, and this is probably going to be pretty low. So prepare for that. I hope we'll get around to it at some point. Of course, it's fall right now. It's going to be a while till I can do that, but hope you enjoy it. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Again, 3 out of 5 stars for me, and I kind of hope we get more. I kind of hope. I don't know. Anyway, what do you think? Put it down below. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you all, and goodbye. By the way, it's October 1st today. Happy Halloween. I get to tell you that every single day that I upload until Halloween night. So let's enjoy that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start up my Halloween movie reviews next. Not to upload yet, but I'm going to start watching them and get them ready to start uploading. I'm super stoked about that. Love some Michael Myers. Anyway, thank you guys. God bless you. Goodbye.